Another workout at home with me, with Edward and with Sval, demoing 3 different movements to start off the session with a little warm-up here. Now, the first movement is the lateral squat. We're gonna start with our feet standing right underneath the hips, toes pointing forward, and we're gonna start with the left leg. So you guys at home practicing left leg. What we do is we step out, very big step. We have an extended and a bended leg. We squat in, we step back. We squat away, we step back. What is very important here is really keep the knee in line with the toe, but press it a bit more sideways into the foot. So after 4 reps in the workout, we will start stepping with the left leg as well, or the other way around. It's all good, as long as you're hitting both legs. Good job, gentlemen. Now, what I always believe is very important here in this variation of the lunge is that you don't let your toes point out, but really keep them pointing forward. So we really work the lateral head of the quad, which is the idea here. Now, scaling options for this can be, and it has to do with injuries on the knee, is going to be a woodpecker or a one-legged deadlift with a flying leg behind you. Let's show them the woodpecker, Ed. Good. Now what Edward's doing here, guys, is he is actually hinging from the hip. He's not leaning forward from his back. He's hinging from the hip, and he's connecting his flying foot towards his head. So he's one straight line there. Also doing 4 reps on one side, 4 on the other, finding your hamstrings on the way down, squeezing your glutes on the way up. Good job. Now, our second movement requires a plank position on elbows. So let's get in a plank position on elbows. The difference here is going to be the positioning of the feet. So Sval's going to have his feet connected, and Edward's going to have his feet a tiny bit wider. Now from this position, we're going to rotate towards the side plank on the left arm. Boom. And if you guys stay there for a second for me, please. At home, they can see it. If you can look at Sval's feet, they're on top of each other. And Edward's feet are spread out, so he has a wider base, which makes it way easier. From there, we rotate back right into the next rep, which is on the other side. And now you guys go for a regular pace, please. So we just hold that rep for longer to show you at home how it should look like. And now we're doing it at a regular pace. This is a plank rotation. We do this for 8 repetitions. Very good for core stability as well. And the 8 repetitions will be alternating. Now the third movement and final movement of this warm-up will also be in a plank. And now Edward will stay on the elbows and Sval will go to long arms. Right? You position your elbow, and in Sval's case, his wrist right underneath the shoulder. You squeeze your belly very hard, and you start out by reaching your right arm forward and straighten it out. You bring it back down. You straighten it out, you bring it back down. Again, a wider base with the feet is easier. A more narrow base makes it tougher. Very good. You guys can rest. In the actual warm-up, we do that movement for 12 alternating reps. It just shouldn't look like a very fast movement. It's all about control here. We just showed you all 3 of the movements. Now it's time to put it into action. And it's going to be a 6-minute quality AMRAP of the 3 movements combined. 4 reps of the lateral lunge on each leg, 8 alternating plank rotations, and then 12 plank reaches. That's CrossFit mathematics right there. 6 minutes in total. Don't go for speed. You should aim for approximately a round per minute, I guess. So let's get to the floor, guys. Oh, no, we're not going to get to the floor. We're going to start with the lunge in 10 seconds. Here we go. We step out with the left first. We do that for you. If you want to start out with the right, that is all good. We start in 3, 2, 1. Let's step out, big lunge, come back in. Now their toes are pointing forward to really focus on hitting the lateral head of the quad, so they really have to drive their knee out into the foot. This is not how you have to do a regular squat, like pushing your knee all the way out over your foot, because then we try to track the toes, but now we do it to emphasize that part of the quad here. Very nice. Staying upright is always important in squatting patterns. Now, we go to our plank on elbow, we make plank rotations here. Sval's doing this with the feet stuck together, so just a very narrow base, which is difficult. Yes, it is. And Edward does it with a wider base of the feet, which is a bit easier, but it's also a very nice way of working that rotation, working that side plank at the same time. It's 8 reps of rotation in total, so 4 on the left, 4 on the right, before we move on to 12 reps of the plank reach. Now, as always, you can place something in front of you that you can actually touch, or you go towards a wall, for example, that you try to touch, or you just imagine all of that stuff. The same as having friends. You can always imagine that and still have a good night. And then you keep going on with reaching. So I wasn't completely right here because the round takes a bit longer than a minute, so about minute 15. So let's aim for doing 4 quality rounds in 6 minutes of this. You guys keep going and press pause. Okay, so today we're gonna have more like a strength portion in the middle, and then we do a quicker finisher right after. Now this strength portion is gonna involve one of the most grueling leg exercises there actually is, which is the Bulgarian Split Squat. And yes, you don't need a lot of stuff to do proper Bulgarian Split Squats at home. Now, the last time we showed you this, we didn't use any objects, but during the live class we actually gave you the opportunity to do so. For this one, we are gonna use an object if we have it. Now, the concept is gonna be, you're doing a set each 2 minutes for 5 rounds, so 10 minutes in total. In that 2-minute time frame, you have to do the left leg and the right leg, both for 10 to 15 reps. Start with the weakest leg, aim for as close to 15 as possible, and do the same amount of repetitions on your stronger leg. You can use any form of resistance you have at home. Dumbbells, a kettlebell, put a heavy backpack on around your back, like Sval's gonna demo to you guys, and then just do the split squats. But they are heavy enough at itself to also just do them without any object, which Edward will show to you guys. Now let's look at the setup of the Bulgarian split squats and proper scaling options. Now I need a gentleman to start with their right leg being on the back. So Sval has a different object than Ed, so he's gonna have his toe more pointed onto the object. Ed's gonna lay his foot down there. From here, we're gonna stay upright, we're gonna bend through the front knee and sit our hips straight down. Good. Now, if you look at the differences here, it also has to do with the object they're using, but Sval's a bit closer to the chair, right? So his knee can actually bend a bit more. There's a bit more traveling of the knee forward as well, which is a good way of trying to emphasize using the quad a bit more. In Ed's case, he's slightly more forward. He could even be more forward if he wants to. It doesn't make the bend of the knee a bit less, but that means he's going to utilize his glutes and his hamstrings a bit more than just his quads here. So yes, it's both full body split squatting, but you can change the emphasis of the movement by changing with the front foot in the positioning. Now, that was the split squat to look at it. Now, if you have an injury that's holding you back from doing that movement because of the knee, first what I want you to try to do is keep the knee over the ankle. If that's not working, then in that case, you're gonna do what Edward's doing, which is a glute bridge, where he's gonna place one foot on the object. Now, if you press onto the object, you might slide the object away. Can you try that? Maybe see if it works. This works perfectly here. Now, doing this instead of the regular glute bridge with the elevation of the front foot simply does this. It allows for more range of motion. So you can use your glutes even harder. Make sure you fold your hips around your belly button when you do this. Make sure the object is standing firmly on the floor so it doesn't slide away during your set. And you hit the same amount of repetitions as prescribed for the Bulgarian split squats. Okay, so we just showed you the Bulgarian split squat and alternatives for the movement. Also, we gave you some nice and quick tips of how you can alter your foot positioning and then changing the emphasis of the movement. Okay, now we're gonna start doing a round with you guys. You wanna set your timer at 5 intervals of each 2 minutes, and you make sure you complete both legs in that time frame of 2 minutes. Starting with the weak one, hit the same amount of reps on the strong one. Okay, it's in between 10 and 15. We start in 10 seconds. I told Sval and Edward to go for 10 reps. At home, if you're doing 15, please do so. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Now, this is a strength exercise, guys, so you don't want to move here and focusing on speed only. You don't want to just get through the reps. You want to really utilize the lag, control the way down, and I love exploding on the way up properly. So control the way down, explode on the way up, really get that lag to fire. Now what I like, what they're both doing is actually going all the way down, which means their back knee is going all the way towards the floor. You can always place something soft under there so you're gently touching the floor with the knee, or you're gently touching the soft object with your old man knee. And actually Ed also has old man knees. He's part of the old man club here at UnScared.
You wouldn't say so?
You wouldn't say so, no. Good. So that means we're working for like 40 to 45 seconds, resting for about 75 seconds. Then we're going to hit it again for round number 2. You guys keep going for 4 more rounds and embrace the pump in your legs. Bye-bye. All right, so your legs are probably on fire from the Bulgarian split squats we just finished. Now it's time to hit a quick workout, a quick 8-minute AMRAP with some core work and some more lag work, but now the lag work is going to be very speedy and fast, which is the idea here. Now, the 3 movements that we will do is going to be demoed by Sval and Ed here, and they're going to have a set of bottles. At home, you're going to need your bottles as well. If you use other objects today in the workout, so this AMRAP here in the end, I need you to have something light, because light is the way to go here for high volume speed reps. Now, the first thing that they're going to do is they're going to get into a tucked position with the legs up from the floor, and Edward can actually gently have his heels touching the floor. And they're gonna have the bottles pressing into each other, elbows into the body, and they're gonna make rotations, Russian twists. Let's go, guys. Now, while they're doing the Russian twists, the focus point is not to move the bottles, the focus point is to rotate. So they're rotating the body with the bottles on top. In the workout, when it says 20 reps, it is meant as 20 quick alternating reps. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 20 done. That is good. Now, a scaling option for this, which we won't show you, will be just ditching the bottles and still getting through that full range of motion with the elbows really tucked into the side. Now, our second movement is a very tough option, which we do for the core, a tough one. I have other options as well that you can use, which we call scaling. Let's have a look at the movement itself first. Ed's going to do this with just one bottle. Saul's going to do it with 2 bottles. First thing I need you to do is set up a partial hollow. And with partial hollow, I mean you're going to have your arms close to your shoulder. You're going to have your legs away. Shoulders are off the floor. The lower back is in the floor. From there, you're going to press the arms back and make a regular hollow. Slowly come back in. Hold each spot for a second. Boom. Come back in. Now, Ed's having 1 object, slightly easier. Saul has 2 objects. Because you move the object away from the middle, it becomes harder. Let's rest for a second, gentlemen. So I know this is very tough, so I don't want him to do a lot of reps. They still have to do the entire workout after this shot here. So as practicing this, really focus on lengthening the arm as far as you can. If you feel like you're not lengthening the arm fully, I want you to ditch one of the 2 objects, and like Edward does, just grab onto just one thing. Or if it's still too heavy, do it without an object and just get the arms from the shoulder all the way, reach backwards, while the lower back stays in contact with the floor throughout. Very important detail there, that lower back positioning. Now, if you have a shoulder injury, you can still do a similar movement, but now you're going to press the object towards the ceiling. Ed will do that with 2 objects. He's going to position the hollow body, which he can scale with the legs if he needs to. Now he's going to press like a chest press upwards. Come back down, come back up. You're still changing the dynamics of the hollow body here, which is what we're looking for. Controlled reps, guys, is key. Don't go fast on this particular movement. Go fast on the other 2. The other 2? Yes, the other 2, because we just showed you 1. This is the middle one. That means there's 1 left. So let's stand up, grab the bottles, and hit a couple of thrusters. We look for this. Bottles on the shoulder, upright position, and thrusters. So you guys squat down, come up, press overhead. Thrust overhead. Good. Upright sitting is very important in the bottom. Upright reaching is important in the top position. So it's just 20 reps, and like I said, it's intended to be light so you can hit this unbroken round in and round out. Every round again. That's good, guys. Let's have a break. Let's have a look at Ed for the 2 injury options that we'll give you guys. Now, first injury option is I cannot go overhead. In that case, you will do hang, squat, cleans. So give me a go to hang, squat, cleans, Ed. Reason for doing the hang squat clean instead of just a front squat is adding some more range of motion and dynamics to the movement than just doing the squat up and down. The thruster is also way more dynamic. Second scaling option has to do with I cannot squat, and in that case you do a variation of like a hang, power, clean and jerk. It doesn't have to be that Olympic lifty. It's going to be from the knees to the shoulder to overhead. Again, instead of just doing the push press, we add some range of motion to make the movement a bit more dynamic than just a shoulder press here. We just showed you all 3 of the movements. I'm still having a good pump in my legs from the Bulgarian Split Squat, so let's add some more volume to that by doing the thrusters now. What do we have? It's 8 minutes, 20 Russian twists, 10 presses in hollow, and then 20 thrusters. It's supposed to be with light weights here, right? So go for that. I have Sval and Ed here. They're going to start with you guys. I'm going to set the timer. I hope you guys are ready because we're all in this together right now. We're starting in 10 seconds. So Sval's going to do the, let's call it RX options, and Edward's going to just scale this a bit down so you guys can look at what suits you best here. Let's go, guys. Now, the idea of this workout is consider it a long 8-minute finisher with the idea of you constantly moving. You should not be having to break up the movement. So you should be able to go through all 20 of the Russian twists, even if it feels heavy. Then you take a quick break. You go into hollow for the presses. Then you take a quick break and go into thrusters. And I do want you to always push for 20 unbroken thrusters here. Very nice. Reaching backwards, maintaining that lower back pressed into the floor. Edward using 1 bottle, Sval using 2 bottles at the same time. That's the difference of level we try to show you guys at home as well. And then it's not a heavy 2159 thruster like Fran is. No, this is a speedy 20 rep thruster with just a bottle per hand. Here we go. I'm going to make them do all 20 reps here, that's for sure. So when you squat down, make sure you firmly plant your feet into the floor, both of them. You sit your butt down while keeping your chest up. Make sure the elbows are cleared from the knees so they don't hit the knees. And make sure you hit a proper lockout in the top, even though you're just using a bottle. Okay? So while they're going through the set of 20, they know that they're going to finish this round probably in about 90 seconds in total. Then they go sit on the floor again, and they're going to start on their Russian twists here. So that was about 90 seconds a round. Let's see if they can get like 5 rounds in, and that would be a great little workout. You guys continue and press pause.